Hey guys, post-production Kaznarious here. This video is a discussion of the indie RPG Omori, a game that is simply one of the best games I've ever played. I genuinely, sincerely, truly hope that you play this amazing game for yourself before watching this video, of course minding the trigger warnings going into it. In this discussion we spoil the crap out of Omori, Undertale, Doki Doki Literature Club, the ending of Mother 3, and to a smaller extent, Lisa the Painful. Thanks for understanding, and I appreciate all 35 of you. I can't even call it a thunderstorm. No one else is on the deck. Let's just call it the first episode of the book club idea.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, fuck all of those. We can do the book club ourselves.
Yeah.
Damn it.
This is the Thunder Book Club. Welcome
The first
everybody.
thing we're doing is a game.
And the first... Oh God. Yep. Me and the Unnamed Guest have just played through Omori. I beat it last night. Our Unnamed Guest beat it 2 nights before. It's fresh in our minds. And you know, we've talked about it on and off, but we've never really been able to have a discussion because somebody keeps joining our call in the middle of our discussions.
And getting
bitching about spoilers.
The
every
worst.
single time.
Anyone watching this video, we're going to spoil everything.
I would like to start off with like general stuff.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
with that said, because I think, you know, it's for the little kids who kind of sneak into the theater now. You know, I want to lay down just the general stuff like this. First of all, this game's amazing. I think that's a fair thing to say. Sorry, go on.
So basically, right now, we're going to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
There may be some accidentally. You have been warned.
Yeah.
We will state when we're going full spoiler.
Yeah,
we will do that.
Obviously, in post, I'll cut out and, you know, maybe swap things around if we do talk about spoilers now. But generally speaking, we won't. I'll try to avoid anything that isn't in the trailer or in the Kickstarter description.
Or just like a general description of
gameplay or something. Yeah. So, okay. Kickstarter, first of all, just a quick thing. This was a Kickstarter game, which is funny because we just hired Kickstarter Thunderstorm. A Kickstarter game that I've looked up, funded in 2014.
Damn.
Which means it had a fucking longer dev cycle than Mighty Number 9, and the more I look up things about this game online, the more I find people bitching that it will never come out, that it was a giant scam, that it's all this bullshit. Fuck the creators, like they took our money, because apparently just like Mighty Number 9, they went radio silent, like for giant periods of time, but. The game came out December 25th, 2020.
No. Oh, I mean, that's always the fear about Kickstarter games. You can never fully trust them. I'm glad that it came out because it was excellent.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely better than Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, I
can quote that.
Yeah. Wow, what a brave take there.
What a great take.
I just feel the need to say that because if I knew about this game before I did that Thunderstorm, I would have 110% mentioned it, but I didn't. I found out about this game literally the 5 minutes after we finished recording it, when Sliver said to me, "Hey guys, there's this game that kind of looks like Earthbound. It kind of looks like Lisa. It kind of looks like one of those weird RPGs," and he showed me 2 screenshots of it that I believe are in promotional art, and we won't get into them now, but generally speaking, Omori is a surreal, psychological horror with very wholesome elements to it. That's kind of like it's kind of got bits of Earthbound. It's kind of got bits of Lisa. It's kind of got bits of Undertale for sure. I think it's not. I think that's a fair assessment to say it's a little bit inspired by Undertale.
It's in that vein of it's a kind of like a weird, I guess, quirky RPG.
Yeah.
But it's also tackling some pretty serious subject matter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a game about dealing with grief, suicidal thoughts.
So yeah, it's so let
it's like atonement and stuff. Like there's a bunch in there. It gets heavy.
It's tough. And it's like I say that from a perspective of a person who doesn't have mental illness, I hope, and who doesn't like suffer from any kind of like thing that triggers me. But I will state now that if suicide and hard topics like suicide and disturbing images related to that, they trigger you in some way, like where, though that does not affect us, we understand that there are people out there who it does. There are people on this channel who it does. So feel free to leave this video and not think about it. But for those who want to take the plunge, I think it is worth it and more. It kind of, oh god, it is one of those games where I loved. It's a weird comparison, but I love games that like make me think about parts of them while I'm playing through it after I turn the game off.
Games that like you can't stop thinking about.
This is that, like it is one of those games.
Throughout the game, I was constantly like, oh, what happened? Like, I guess this isn't much of a spoiler, but there's kind of like a big mystery of something that happened in the past.
Yeah.
And like throughout the game, you want to know what happened, and it takes all the way to the end of the game, obviously, to explain it. That's kind of how that always works.
Mm-hmm.
And like I only played this game for like 3 days because I beat it so fast. But like throughout that time, I really was thinking of what was going on.
I mean, let's talk about some general stuff. Also,
let's
art style.
Let's talk visual.
Art style.
So I'm gonna start.
Yeah, feel free.
Overworld is pretty whatever.
It's pretty boring, I'd say. When you compare it to the rest of like the actual drawn visuals and the actual battles happening, it's very boring.
Overworld is just kind of whatever. I will say that like the sprites are animated like decently.
Yeah.
Like the girl on your team, Omori, like her hair sways and her walk animation looks decent. The general walk cycles look pretty good, even though they're like pretty whatever quality sprites.
Mm-hmm.
Like the overworld definitely feels kind of like RPG Maker, which this might be made in.
It is.
I'm not sure.
It actually is. Okay. No, it is. It's just like, I don't know. Unlike Lisa, like it's one of those games where if you did not, I mean, I could tell it. I don't know. The menus have a weird way of behaving when they're made in RPG Maker. The menus and the battle scenes in particular have this. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Just the way it goes from each character, and every time you select something, like it's this weird like subconscious thing you can kind of pick out. That I'm sure if you've played enough RPG Maker games, you'd know it immediately. But it feels like it really was one of those games that it really built off the engine to the point where like you could not tell that this was made the same thing that was made from Lisa or something like that. Like it's
like,
it really works with the material it uses.
Like you can definitely kind of tell that it is an RPG Maker game, but not like to the point of a detriment. It's not like oh, it's just an RPG Maker game. It does a lot of cool things, and it is really good. So that's the overworld stuff. Whatever, who cares? It's what's really great is like the drawn stuff, because I'm not entirely sure, but it feels like they're all like hand drawn, or obviously they're done at least through minimum digital art, which is still technically hand drawn in a way. But like they look like they're made with like pencil crayons for the most part. Basically all the drawings. And like that's each individual sprite, so even just standing still, like the characters sway a little bit, and each like individual frame of that is like drawn.
Is a different drawing, and you can tell that each drawing is separate in the way they swim.
You can see the lines, like the lines that you create when you draw with pencil crayons. There's different ones in each one, and it looks good. I think it looks really neat and interesting. I mean, I'm always a sucker for just an interesting visual aesthetic because I hate photorealism. It's very boring to me.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, this isn't. It's not like an anime aesthetic either. Really, it's its own thing. It's got a cool.
It's a
style that I like
fantastical
lot.
world. It's a fantastical, surreal world. So,
Yeah.
like a drawing that looks like it's, I don't know, out of a high schooler's sketchbook. It fits the world incredibly. So,
and there are like, without getting too much into spoilers, there's kind of like a fantastical portion of the game and a more realistic portion of the game.
Yeah.
And there is differences in like the art style, even though it's still generally the same art style. But you can tell like the more fantastical ones have like it's kind of like rainbowy style hair.
Yeah.
That's the way I want to describe it. Rainbowy.
I don't know. It's.
And then in like the realistic, they have just like more like regular flat colored hair.
Yeah.
And like I like that like change because you can easily tell which one you're in. I mean, you can always easily tell which one you're in anyway, just because of the way the game works.
Yeah.
And then like in visual style, like all the enemy designs are like comical generally. While the game does deal in like pretty heavy topics, it also has its sense of whimsy, I guess.
Yeah.
When the enemy is called a muscle, and it's a big buff arm coming out of a muscle, that's what it looks like, and it's in this like drawn like sketchbook style. It's kind of funny. I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. You could definitely tell that a lot of creativity went into each of these designs.
A lot of enemy designs do remind me of like Undertale style enemy designs where they're like goofy, sometimes even puns, or like Undertale has like a plane with like a face on it, and this one has a plane that is also a shark.
So
just a plane with a face on it, and like I saw that, I was like, that reminds me very much of an Undertale monster design because I know one of those exists there.
I mean, this. You want to talk about games that this took inspiration from? Earthbound Zero and actually parts of Earthbound have this place called Magicant where it's that stage in fucking Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's all pink clouds. It's all this fantastical, whimsical dream world.
Most of the like fantastical setting is very, I guess, Magicant like. I didn't play much Earthbound, so
yeah. I mean, it's essentially a location you go to several times throughout Earthbound Zero, and it's
I know the general idea.
Yeah. I think it's a treat to fucking look at personally.
And then it takes weird, sharp turns into like horror aesthetics.
Are we? Yeah. I suppose I already called it a horror game, but
it's not really. That happens pretty early anyway.
Yeah, it does.
Can't even really call it a spoiler. I think that's probably in the demo. There is a demo for it, right?
Oh, I don't know, but
Oh, there's a backers demo, but it was only for backers.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I was looking up things and I saw a demo somewhere, but it was for backers. Yeah, but it goes into like pretty like weird horror-esque things, and it does that really well. I found a lot with the horror. It like, it looks like they're just like photos at points, like kind of like weirdly pasted, like real art, real life stuff that's been kind of like oddly
augmented in some weird way. Hard to say.
There are parts. I think there's a part where there is just like a very realistic looking hand that just shoves you, right?
There's definitely just like somebody took a picture and and kind of augmented it to fit into the game world, which
I think like Omega Flowey.
Yeah. It's
where like it's really odd looking, and especially because it clashes with the rest of the art style.
Yeah.
It's really unsettling in a way.
Which again, when you're talking about dreams, like it's such a fitting setting for such strange contradictions in the art style and the fucking like things that happened. Like, of course, in a dream you're gonna see a drawing and like a realistic hand, like because of the setting it takes place in. Like anything is game for what the fuck you can see, and I think the game runs with that and runs with it spectacularly.
For sure, yeah. No, when it decides to be unsettling, it does it really well.
Yeah.
I think there's like an enemy at one of the, like the weird horror boss that like it looks kind of like it's like a weird clay figure. I'm thinking the spider one.
Yeah.
It looked like someone made like a weird monster, like spider monster out of clay, and just took a photo of it and like pasted like a creepy smile on it.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's. I don't know. It feels. You know, I want to talk about a lot of these horror elements, but it's like a lot of them are just like so fucking vague that like you can't.
I cannot.
You can't like. It's like Gygas's form was far too like. You aren't able to grasp Gygas's form. Like it's just so like vague, but it's at the same time like it's because of that vagueness that it is disturbing.
Yeah. And then like late game, you got two like weird, hyper abstract horror nightmare realms. That's the best way I can describe them.
Yeah.
Abstract nightmare realms. That's what they are. That's the only way I can like tell what they are. Because fuck, what the fuck were those?
It's disturbing, but I think it's got enough game around the disturbing shit to keep you want to keep going.
It's not just creeping you out constantly.
Like it's so.
And all the creepy shit is interspersed with like that's actually the lesser part.
Yeah.
That appears much less than the more like charming, fantastical stuff that throughout the majority of the game.
What I was gonna say was when Undertale, when you go the genocide route, like it's pretty clear after, you know, once you get to Undyne, like this is like bad timeline, like worst, like you are a fucking monster, and this could only go poorly, shit route. When shit hits the fan in Doki Doki, like it you know, it sort of relies on that initial, like you don't know you're playing a psychological horror game, and then it flips you, and then it's just shit all the way to the end of the game. With this, it's really interesting because it will give you the security blanket. It will give you that nice cozy story of four friends on their adventures, and then it will rip that blanket away from you and throw you in a fucking cold bath, and then it will give you that security blanket again. This game, in any other game, I would probably be asking myself, man, the fucking pacing in this game is all over the fucking place. Like, isn't it so weird that it's making me flip-flop emotions so constantly? Like, you would think that because you just saw some absolutely fucked up shit, you would be on your guard, like, for your majority of the time playing the game, but the game lulls you back into a comforted state, and then fucks with you again. It's actually, like, I've never seen a game consistently, like, warm me back up to it and then take it away, and that again was like, I'm not really sure in that regard that I'm ever going to forget this experience, because I'm not I would, because I've never seen a game do what this game did in that way, and I'm not, and I mean, I hope another game stands on its shoulders and tries an idea like that, but I think it's definitely to be commended for, you know, the story writing and the you know, the whole team for, you know, figuring out not just to have horror elements, but to have like well-paced horror elements and consistently like you just like you kind of see them coming, but like
and then there's still interspaced with like weirdly wholesome moments.
Yeah,
it's just general like, this is a fantastical fun time adventure.
Yeah,
followed by like random like what is going on.
What the yeah.
I mean, you can always tell when the next horror, like, I will say that once the band-aid has been ripped off,
Yeah. You've
can
got
really
a
tell
you've
it's
got a
good.
sense. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, most games of this nature, once the band-aid's ripped off, they just are going full bore all the time anyway. But this one doesn't do that, as we've mentioned.
Yeah.
Which is, it's good. It's interesting. I like it a lot.
Let's get a little bit into gameplay.
Yeah. So gameplay, so the general way, I'll just describe. It's a
Yeah. Feel free.
it's like the general like Earthbound style. You look at the enemy, like the enemy takes pretty much the whole screen, and then you have like portraits of your characters essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then your characters have various attacks they can do. Pretty generic RPG stuff. But it has the emotion system where you can make yourself or the enemy happy, sad, or angry. And from there, it's just a rock paper scissors thing where
Yep.
what,
Happy
sad,
beats angry. Angry beats sad.
sad,
Sad beats happy. And yeah, every big encounter is you essentially manipulating either your characters or the bot, or whatever enemy you're fighting,
yeah.
into giving them some kind of stat disadvantage, or to beat their they're angry with you're happy, or whatever.
Yeah, and each stat, each mood does something different.
Yeah.
Angry, you deal more damage, you take more damage, and I won't go into all of them because it's not necessary. But each one has a benefit and a downside.
Yeah.
So you can play on strategies around that, and characters, they learn a bunch of moves. Each one will learn 10 or so moves through the time of the game, but you're only allowed to bring 4 into battle.
Yeah. I like that. This might be a hot
like
take.
that
Okay. I was gonna say.
I like having a lot of options that I can freely swap out. I'm not punished for swapping options. But being able to bring a limited number. Because that allows you to make interesting options while also simultaneously if I had all of those interesting options all at once, I would be ridiculously overpowered and it wouldn't be interesting anymore.
Well, I think for me, it just sort of personalizes my experience. At the end of the day, every you play pretty much every RPG, you're basically everyone's gonna have access to that whole move set, but when you're limited like that, it sort of forces you to decide, okay, what strategy do I personally, as the person playing this game, want to go for? Do I want to make the enemy sad and have an entire team of angry people? I don't know, it's it's the weird comboing argument for, I think, for games made by Platinum Games. It's how do I how do I put myself into this game and express myself through the moves I'm putting into battle. Now, obviously, eventually, you're gonna sort of everyone's sort of gonna get bottlenecked, because I mean, the moves as the characters go on just procedurally get better. But
yeah,
again, early and mid game, that's it's sort of a very interesting question to ask of your player. Funny enough, you and me pretty much, I believe, went through without saying it, we basically went for the same strategy. Just make 3 characters happy, make the enemy pissed, and wail on them with big damage.
Yeah, because there's moves in the game where it's just this move attacks 3 times.
Yeah.
So I'm okay, well, I'm gonna make my character really happy, and then the enemy really angry, so they take lots of damage.
Yeah.
Because they have, defense down when angry, and I'm happy, so I'm dealing bonus damage, and I would just wail on them, and then I would have the last guy just healing everyone, because that's all he's good for.
Yeah. I mean, if I had only one complaint about the system, it's that I don't know. Again, I've only gone through one playthrough, but it feels like I could have brought that strategy basically into any fight and won it. Mind you, as I'm sure you're thinking in your head, there are there are bosses that can also manipulate emotions, but again, that's one encounter that you can sort of, I don't know, even when your main strategy doesn't really work out, you can sort of kind of wing it and sort of do something else to sort of roll with it. But
I will say the game wasn't particularly challenging after a certain point. Like,
yeah,
some enemies can like, just normal enemies can kind of like wreck your shit because they deal a lot of damage. But
well,
later on, they just, most enemies are kind of pushovers and bosses are not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say, the game has a secondary route that's like, you can think of it, I guess, as this game's genocide route, and I believe it has more powerful bosses in parts of it, and we did not play that route.
Yeah,
we both have got the normal ending. We have not yet gone into that. If we even will, I don't know if I'm going to go and do it, because again, it is fun JRPG combat.
Yeah.
I say JRPG, I don't know why it's not Japanese, but it feels like a JRPG in its combat style, I guess.
I mean, I think,
but it's not like that innovative or that great, but it is good and it serves the game very well. And I would enjoy playing pretty much any game that had this combat system.
I like it more than Undertale's combat, I think.
Fair. I mean, they're pretty different actually, because
yeah, that's true. It's Undertale gets kind of shmuppy.
Shadow's very shmuppy. Like, that's the point of it. Whereas this one was more of just like a general RPG.
Yeah.
And there's like other options in the game. Like when you do normal attacks, you can do like team attacks with your allies by in the right direction. And each character has like different team attacks that they can do with everyone.
Then there's the big special team attack that looks fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's animated.
Every time that shows up on screen, it's just fucking hype. Yeah. I mean, not much else to say about the system. It was fun for what it was. It worked.
It's fun. It's not like the deepest, but
yeah.
it is good.
Yeah.
Because every boss will eventually boil down to they're going to be in one state of emotion, and you're going to be in the good state of emotion, and you're just going to wail on them. At a certain point, that is what happens. But everything will be boiled down to like an exact science by the end game, and pretty much every game anyway. So yeah, whatever.
I wanted to talk about specifically this game, because we again, neither of us have really had a big discussion about this, but also because I feel like I can feel it in my bones. Like this is a game that's too good not to blow up. Like part of me, like with Undertale, I thought, oh, it's a little indie game, and I'll enjoy it myself, and I'll get all my friends in on it, and we'll all enjoy it together, and we'll have a good time, and and we'll just not think about it. It'll just be a nice little RPG to think about, and then stop thinking about. And I think Omori is on a bit of a fucking railroad right now to becoming a Doki Doki Literature Club. And while I don't think it's not gonna hit Undertale levels of success, I do think it's going to... something big's gonna happen with it. Some big streamer or YouTuber is gonna fucking play this game, and it's going to get big. So...
it's gonna be you. It's gonna be us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sliver hasn't played through it yet. Why don't you have Sliver all of the gameplay and put it on the channel?
So again, for those, before we go into the real ass shit, I actively encourage anyone out there who's watching this who has not played this game to play it before the internet as a collective makes you sick of hearing about it. And I know that that's a very black-pilled response, but I've seen it before, and I will see it again, and I feel it in my bones. It's gonna happen anyway.
Yeah, there's always those things that get popular, and then people just like, oh, it's popular and you hear about it all the time, and I don't want to look at it. And I mean, I can kind of understand that, but I also kind of can't. Whatever, that's not important. Anyway, from here on, full spoilers. If you're listening to this and you haven't played it, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, man. All right. let's talk about themes.
Yes.
Let's start abstract, like, because I mean it's easy to say. Like, I think it's fair to say, like, the big question and like the big theme being thrown at you that you don't really know at the beginning, but you as a whole see is overcoming grief. Um,
I would actually. I mean, overcoming grief is definitely a huge part because every character does it,
mhm.
including like the main character.
Yeah.
The main character's official name is Sunny. I think we both changed
Yep.
the name and
Yeah.
immediately forgot what it was. So
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Fallin for this.
Yeah.
Um, but I think like a bigger theme coming near the end is actually like dealing with guilt and
Sure.
like coming clean and atonement kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's a big thing by the end. Obviously, grief is a huge one, but I think those are both like huge themes in this game that it tries to tackle.
Yeah. We'll talk about the ending later because I do want to simply get into the end why the ending is cool. But I want to sidetrack into Basil because you and I were sort of as we were playing it, we had that interaction with when the first time we go to Basil's house where
Yeah.
he is like, I don't know, he's been acting weird. He's acting weird, and yeah, he clearly looks either scared or stressed, or he's having a fucking anxiety attack from us just looking at him.
His portrait sprite is like weirdly unsettling.
Yeah.
In the way it looks, and like you talk to him and he says, "Hey, what's up?" And, like, you know, stuttering, and then you talk to him again. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And you talk to him again. Why are you staring at me? Again,
Yeah.
Like, it progresses at least like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then it'll just repeat, and he's just like, on that level, I felt that he, at this point, like I figured something bad had happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured Basil was responsible for it at that stage, and that we knew, and that's why he was like worried about.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
But it's actually the total opposite. We did something bad in the past, and he knows. And
Yeah.
clearly, what's happening here is he's probably kind of terrified of us to a point.
Oh yeah.
Because again,
well, I mean, his
this weird sociopathic thing of hanging his sister to cover the fact that he killed her.
Well,
that's fuck. What?
I mean the hanging thing. Well, yeah, obviously Basil was part of that, but like Basil has also tried to compartmentalize that as there was something black behind you or something.
Yeah, he has this like, both of you can like see each other's guilt. Obviously, this is kind of metaphorical, and it's just cool that you can do that, and we don't have to worry about the realisticness of that.
Yeah, it also looks incredibly visually cool. Like there's just all this black shit, like it's great.
You go into Basil's like bathroom, and he's there. He's like, there's like these weird black tendrils coming off.
Yeah.
It's like you can see the thing behind you, right? And you're like, thing behind me. I unfortunately then immediately left the room because I was like, thing behind me, and I immediately turned around. And I wanted to go back in, but it wouldn't let me.
It doesn't show a thing behind you, but it's I did stay in the bathroom for a little bit and talk to him, and he basically says the same line, or like another line to that effect again. But it's
yeah. But I think the main point of that line is that like you're both aware of each other's like like you can each tell that you're both feeling like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And both of you are kind of like nervous and scared of each other because of that, I would assume. And to be fair, this leads to one of my favorite things in the game, is that he says that thing behind you. So as soon as you hear that, and you know that you can just check any mirror in the game to see what's behind you, you go home and you check the mirror behind you, and there's like, I think the first time it's the eyeball ghost.
It's an eye on the door, and then it's the eyeball ghost, and then it's the real shit.
The distorted Mario that's like trying to eat your head, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's like a cool, because you don't have to see that. It's totally optional to see that. But as soon as, at one point you probably checked a mirror and you know you can look at yourself in the mirror, and he says that thing behind you, so you will check the mirror, and like that's a cool way of doing that. I like that. It's not required.
Yeah.
something that you had to find for yourself, and it's really nice look. Like not nice look. It's really cool.
Well, it's nice the game rewards your curiosity,
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. Let's go to a slightly less harsh topic that we sort of both picked up on. I'd say for sure it's the whole game is like atonement and grief, and coming to terms with like the shit your shit.
Drama and
yeah.
bad things.
But I think what makes it so great is that like though that's like the overarching theme. There's like the clear things that that manifest themselves like within his dreams, like the theme of like losing your friends, and like just and like I guess weirdly by proxy just like fear that you're losing your friends and losing your memories of them will by proxy kind of make you lose a piece of yourself.
Yeah, I guess.
It's
There is like a good set where like when you're in the like awake real worlds and like one of your friends talks about how like he's too busy to do the thing that like he previously liked, which was cooking.
Yeah.
He's like studying to be a doctor.
He's studying to be a doctor, yeah.
And like I got this feeling like, oh, like we're drifting away, growing up, and like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And then immediately in the dream world, all your friends are gone, and they all have
Jobs, yeah. It's great.
And it's like, okay, I mean, it's a little blunt, but like I like it. It's good.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's
and like that guy in particular is the best at the job and the hardest one to get back.
Yeah.
Whereas the fuck up of the group is the easiest to get back. The boss doesn't even want him. He only has him because he doesn't want to break contracts.
Yeah.
Hell is decent comic relief. He's the least fucked up of all the characters.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be mentioned by the internet as a whole, but the whole bringing a knife to a nail-covered baseball bat fight, and how it's like, well, what are you doing with that knife? And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean, what am I doing with that knife? This bitch is a bat with fucking nails stuck into it. That's gonna do some serious damage, man.
Did it have nails stuck into it?
Yes!
Okay, I forgot. I knew it was a bat. I completely forgot it had nails in it.
That thing had fucking nails in it. God damn!
Yeah, I know, but you do pull out a knife and you literally try to stab her. It's like,
well, yeah. I mean, there's that, and that's.
I would put that as our main character is, I guess, dissociating a bit. Like, he's losing a bit of maybe grasp of reality and the fiction, because in the dream world he fights with a knife, and and it's normal.
Let's put it into perspective. He's isolated himself for what, 2 years?
It's 4.
4? Like, I don't know. You go 4 years living in fucking dreamland, and then you suddenly decide to leave your house. Like, I don't know. It didn't say he went to school during that time. Like,
at one point it said that he stopped going to school. So
yeah. So I mean, it's
basically was just at home for 4 years.
Yeah, it's it's obviously a bit of a what the fuck moment, but at the same time, like, you live in your fucking house every single day, and oh god, I feel like I'm about to get into some weird COVID shit, but like, it's not. Yeah, it's weird, but like, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see by disassociating yourself that much, by escaping into your dreams, that I don't know. Like, if that's what you see most of the day, then of course when you leave your house eventually, like, your brain is still fucked. I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to be in a good
stage.
Especially with all the shit our main character is mentally dealing with anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
The moving away time limit works well, just in like it gives a reason for everything to happen.
Yeah.
Because it went 4 years without anyone doing anything, but it does make sense that maybe someone would try to reach out in the last few days.
Yeah, because it's like, part of it's like, fuck, I'm never gonna see these guys again, and part of it's like, fuck, like, it's this is the last chance I have to like let everyone know what the fuck happened. Like,
Do I just run away? Do I face
yeah,
problems? Yeah, no, it's
it's
neat.
great. Like in a game with such hopeless, I don't know, with such hopeless scenes and like all this horror shit. Like it's got a strangely like real ass and like relatable message of like, damn, like you really need to like face this shit. Like you got to rip off that band-aid and you just have to live with yourself. And
Yeah, you can't run away from the problems and just hide it forever.
and
Kind of thing.
that's and we'll get in like let's get into it. Like that's really what makes the ending great.
Before we get fully into
sure,
it,
sure.
I want to say, I will say that a lot of the dream sequences,
Yeah.
while I do enjoy them and stuff, most of them don't have too much connection to
Yeah.
anything. Like, there's like a weird section where you're just kind of locked up in like some crazy lady's castle. And
Yeah.
she's trying to find a husband. Couldn't immediately find a connection. I still don't really towards anything in that.
Yeah, I just sort of wrote it off as Buddy Boy escaping into his dreams to just avoid.
It's a fun
to get away.
Dream escape.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I just say it doesn't really have much connection to do.
Yeah. No,
anything.
Yeah.
And even right at the end, there's like the last thing you do is you go in a whale, and
yeah. No, yeah, I get it. It's like how do we connect going into a whale, getting 3 mad scientists to create 3 different versions of this weird ass bitch, and then fighting the whale. Yeah.
And then fighting the whale. Yeah, I will. There might be a connection in like her trying to like create a copy of herself or something. Might be some like desire for the main character wishes his sister was alive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
There could be something there because the character Sweetheart is like at points she is clearly attracted to Hero, who was the boyfriend
of Mary. Yeah. Okay.
And
okay.
So maybe I could just obviously been reading too far into it to find something. But like for the most part, I can't think of too much, and especially getting eaten by the whale and the whale eating you. That is technically the final boss of the game. Is the whale. Like it's just
it's weird.
Whale that's like, I'm hungry and you're already in my stomach, so I'm gonna eat you.
I'm gonna eat you.
And like he creates mouths, really unsettling looking mouths.
It's oh my.
Yeah,
we're not even, dude.
Not always happy fun times. There's
dude.
Still fucked up shit in there.
We skipped over the fucking cat monster.
Oh, okay, yeah, the cat monster.
Oh my god.
The cat monster is like a weird, like it's horror, but it's like it's a funny horror because it has nothing to do with the actual regular horror.
It's just got such derpy music while it's fucking chasing you too.
Yeah,
it's
the weird shambling zombie cat monster.
Yeah.
Did you put the bee in that section?
I fucking didn't.
Okay,
I missed him, I guess.
Okay, there's a bee in that section. It's so funny. So it's just a chase sequence, and if the monster gets you, you die. It's not a game over, it just teleports you to the beginning of the room.
Yeah.
But there's a bee in there, and you talk to him, he says, I am the spelling bee. And he like every letter takes a second to come out. I am the spelling bee. I love to spell words, and like each letter takes like a whole second. There's like a dash between them. So the monster catches up to you and catches you while you're doing this.
Quality.
I think you were like, people were in the voice call with me when I was at that part, and I was just like, son of, I hate you, you stupid bee. It was really funny, despite that, like, I just got eaten by this horrific cat monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so most of the dream sequences don't really have much to do with anything. Unfortunately, I wish there was more thematic connections.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just dense and didn't get them.
I don't know. I
I
obviously there's the real world like space Space Boyfriend or whatever is some kind of weird comic that Kel reads or some shit like
Yeah,
that. I forget who fucking reads it.
both Sweetheart and Space Boy are like
Yeah.
cartoon characters.
Yeah.
But that means nothing.
No.
Which, to be fair, I think I would say that is a point because they say white space, which is the dream realm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a place where you can't get hurt, essentially. So,
Okay.
like, it is supposed to be safe and not scary and bad, except the whale, which is terrifying. But the whale gives you the final things to get into black space, where black space is where you go in and now we can start, probably getting into more of that. Black space is where you get into like the real stuff. These are like your real dark subconscious thoughts, things that you're repressing and not wanting to think about,
Yeah.
things that will hurt you. And this is where like we learn about. We don't really learn that much in the first black space section.
I was gonna ask while we're in black space. Did you stab Miwo?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I stabbed that.
Damn. I'm guessing you're aware now that you could have stabbed yourself and got out at any point.
Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, afterwards, I was like, was that necessary?
Yeah.
But no, I stabbed it.
There's and I'm sure I fucking hated that section. The second it's like, do you want to stab me? Well, it's like he's confused, like, and then it's like the cat is getting like more and more aware of the situation. It's like, fuck. I can't, and yeah.
Yeah, no.
This stupid pixel cat broke my fucking heart, man.
That section's cool. And
Yeah.
Not just but like the whole bit.
Yeah.
That's the thing I mentioned earlier, the abstract nightmare realms. Because most of those places are like, I don't even know what's going here.
What do you even make of it?
I can't describe any of them.
Yeah.
Because they're so messed up, and a lot of them are like. And then there's ones where you find Basil and like you talk to him, and like you get in an elevator with him, and you get out of the elevator and his head gets stuck and then his head gets cut off. And it's
Yeah.
like, what is happening?
I think there was a point in the game where it's like where the way our main character was talking to Basil, I was like wondering like fuck like are we is the game plan here to like fucking kill Basil for whatever reason? Like did Basil do it and then we're the fucking retribution or some shit like that? Like
you don't know by that point.
Yeah.
In the first black space, the end thing is you kill Basil and you sit on the throne of hands.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that means. Like
you become the red hands are a thing that are in like black space and white space.
Yeah.
I guess that's us like I don't know mastering black space and white space. Like we were learning about it and we've like mastered it or something. Or
somehow conquered our dreams.
Omori has.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Okay.
Omori has, which is a different thing. I guess that's maybe what's supposed to, and that's why Omori is like more powerful in the later section.
Yeah.
This is all in our psyche. But yeah, no, like the last night when you go to Basil's and you go into his room and you're both essentially trying to kill each other.
Yeah, it's weird. You both come to this conclusion that it's like, yeah, this is how it's got to end. We gotta. This is our like, our grief is too much to deal with, and we gotta suicide by killing. Like, it's
in every other ending. Basil does kill himself.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So in the ending where you just leave and go to your house and go to bed, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning when you're leaving and going into your car to just move, there is ambulance noises in the background.
Oh, okay.
Because Basil has killed himself.
Okay.
And also, if you just go to bed, like if you just return to, like you wake up and you go back into the sleeping bag or whatever, you can actually go and like look at Basil's corpse.
Wow. Holy shit.
Like, the rest of them are outside the room and they're like Sonny, don't go in there. Just don't. You don't have to look at it. It's like,
damn.
Please don't. And you can go in, you can look at his corpse, and like, he still has his like shadow guilt thing around him even in his death.
Wow.
Um, it's pretty
That's
fucked up.
yeah.
Um, alternately, one of the endings is you can just kill yourself too. If you go home, pick up the knife, and go to bed,
Yeah.
you'll wake up stabbing yourself.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like in the true ending, you and Basil, I guess you just agree to kill each other. Like, it's not really stated. Both of them are like, Basil's constantly like asking you like basically to stop, but he's also still attacking you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like obviously he doesn't want to, but he also feels maybe he has to because I don't know. You're both so guilt stricken.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you both knock each other out, and there is like a cool thing where obviously your eye like got damaged or something, and you can't open it in this fight, and like you only see like half of Basil in like the final thing before you fall unconscious because your eye is just not working. It's not really fully how eyes work. We don't lose that much vision, but you know whatever.
Fun little details, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. And then we get into the final like mental scape where we learn everything. We learn that we killed our sister and framed it as a suicide, and Basil was there taking photos the whole time. He's a fucking weirdo.
You know, part of me was like, man, yeah, no, it's just Basil being like looking and being and like.
Okay.
And us imagining him taking photos, but
yeah, no, I will say that technically speaking, all of that's in the dream sequence. All of the photos we see of that are in the dream sequence. So it's possible he never actually took photos, and this is just our like mental like recollection of
at
it.
the same time, holy fuck, would that be some real shit if he was actually taking pictures?
Yeah, that would be really fucking weird. And like the photos are like shown in like really like they're shown in disjointed ways that at the beginning you're still probably suspecting Basil killing her or being responsible. I never thought that anyone purposely killed her throughout the entire game. I always felt it was an accident that like they were Basil was blaming himself for. That's what I generally
honestly I'm so used to dumb fucking heel turns from a lot of shitty medias that I thought somebody was secretly evil, and somebody did it. So I
never thought that. I always thought that like he was fucked up and there was something wrong, but he wasn't like fully to blame, and that he was fucked up by it too. I did have that general thought throughout, and I was technically right to a point. He wasn't the cause of it, but he was complicit. But yeah, that's where we learn everything. So I was reading some things online, and people are saying that like the more you listen to Mari's dialogue, the more you can like maybe get the sense that she's a perfectionist. I didn't get that throughout my gameplay, but
not at all.
Some people did.
I mean, I figured it was some kind of obvious stupid disagreement over the recital.
Yeah, no.
It was the night of the recital, or the day of the recital, rather. So
I have no idea if this is true or not, but someone said that there were some like data mined like lines that were not actually in the game.
Okay.
That stated something about there being like a fight in the music room at one point, or not a fight, or like some disagreement, or so the general idea is that maybe Mari was pushing Sunny too hard on this recital because she is a perfectionist and probably just better than him at music.
Yeah.
And that's what led to this weird fight where he pushed her down the stairs.
Yeah, I mean, plausible for sure.
Totally plausible. I have no idea if any of that's true. Don't quote me. Game theory.
Game theory. Where are you at? No, it's. I think based on the fact that Sunny, he sees his sister and like he imagines his sister forgiving him in his own dreamscape. Like I don't know. It wasn't a weird act of malice. Like. Yeah.
And I will say most of what we don't know anything about Mari, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Because we only ever see dream version of her, who was obviously perfect.
Yeah, of course.
She's perfect. She's clearly made to be like that. And then we see like her in like happy memories, where of course we're not going to see her bad side in those happy memories.
Yeah, of course. No, that makes sense.
I don't know where people got the perfectionist thing. I'm assuming there's just more lines of dialogue that I didn't see because I don't think I did every single picnic. There's a lot of them. Um, I probably missed a few. Unfortunate, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we learn the truth. It's great. It's a cool reveal. Like the main character gets more and more like covered in blood and like turned into like a weird zombie.
Just
man.
a great, yeah, wonderful symbolization of your fucking sins crawling on.
Yeah, which is probably because the main character Sonny has been somewhat repressing this. Like obviously he is aware of it, but he has probably been repressing it. And this is him like mentally like relearning his own mistake.
Yeah.
And it's making everything come back in greater force, and his mental image of himself is getting worse because he's viewing himself as a monster who
As
killed
a
his
yeah,
sister
yeah.
and faked suicide.
Yep.
Because I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's visually really neat. You have the bloody footsteps throughout it.
Yeah, it's the music again is, I don't know, the whole atmosphere is just so fucking oppressive. It's it really is wonderful because it's like, fuck, somebody killed her, clearly. Who did it? How did it happen? And it's like, fuck.
No,
right.
it's me.
Oh fuck, it's me. And then again, as a player, you need to come to grips with, is this do I as a player think that this character is forgivable? Like fuck.
Yeah.
Like have I just been controlling a fucking and like have I just been seeing a fucking murderer get over like his fear of like heights and spiders and what? Because like obviously that's like when you suspect that like he did something awful at the beginning, like I don't know. There's also like this whole like aspect of like him like bettering himself by like getting over other lesser, stupider fears.
Well, to be fair, we can view that as so okay. In the end, he does like in the final good ending, you do like confess and everything.
Yep.
So we can take that as like the final fear to overcome.
Yeah.
We see him take over small fears like heights and then spiders and then drowning.
Mm-hmm.
It specifically says drowning, not just water. This makes way more sense.
Yeah.
And then like this final fear is, it's not directly stated, but it's essentially overcoming the fear of, you know,
owning up
owning
yeah.
to your mistake, your huge murderous mistake.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how we can view those and why they're connected to it.
This is sort of a weird thing that I thought about. But like every game that you could probably compare this to, like I don't know, let's say Mother 3, where do I really want to spoil every fucking game ever?
No, feel free, go ahead. I don't care.
I mean, a Mother 3 where like the whole thing is like people lose their shit by the end of the game because you're forced into a fight and have to kill basically your brother, and it sucks. And it's really sad, and he basically commits Sudoku. Between that and like games like Undertale and Earthbound and Lisa, like the interesting thing I think about Omori is that like whereas those are like games where you're fighting to save the world or fighting, I don't know, like whatever the fuck Brad's doing. Brad's just like a kung fu master who can just kick everybody's ass. But he's in the middle of a fucking apocalypse. Omori is like the weird thing about Omori is that like obviously like the trauma and the way he expresses his trauma is specific to this character, but like the situation of a kid killing like another kid accidentally and growing up to deal with that isn't like obviously it's incredible like how many fucking, you don't see that every day, but like there is somebody in the world who can like genuinely relate to this situation.
there's someone who's, I don't know, like in somehow put like they pushed their little brother on the swing in a weird way, and he went flying and bashed his head into something.
Yeah.
Like that's happened. Obviously, that's not exactly what happens here, but the
Well,
death is
yeah.
a little purposeful, but not really.
And even if it's not that direct, like I'm like, you know, even before we knew our main character did kill his sister, like me and you were thinking something along the lines of, oh, like she committed suicide, and because I don't know, our main character didn't say something, like they feel guilty about it.
Oh, yeah.
Which again, probably also a thing that happens in real life. And when I think about that compared to like, oh, the hard decision of, I don't know, do I kill, like, I don't know, Mother 3, do I kill my super powered brother with my super powered powers to save the world? Like, I don't know, it's a lot more personal. It's something I could actually relate to. Like, I've thought to myself, because when I was in the process of seeing all the photos take place, I was thinking to myself, and obviously I was realizing, oh fuck, this kid's a killer. But like, and as the game was sort of turning it as, you know, was this like, yeah, this kid's a killer, but he's also a kid. Like,
he's also a kid. It was clearly like,
yeah.
Obvious. Although I will say, like, the solution is a little psychopathic.
Oh yeah. Oh like, yeah.
Yeah, you pushed your sister down the stairs because you got in an argument. It was a total accident. You didn't mean to actually like throw her down the stairs. Mm-hmm. There's actually, like a cool little like that comes back. It doesn't come back. It shows up earlier.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The first time
accidentally pushes Basil into the lake.
Yeah.
Like she shoved him, but she didn't want to shove him into the lake when he can't swim. So she essentially almost did
the same thing. Yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
I
didn't even think about that actually.
That's a neat little connection that it like shows up earlier than, because you obviously see that long before you learn that you killed your sister.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the solution is they make it look like she committed suicide. And I guess everyone believed that except for the parents.
Yeah, I think for sure the parents didn't believe that. We obviously have the scene where the dad is like, "You're not my son. Get away from me. Why won't this tree fall down?" And he leaves because he's. I mean, fair. Honestly, like, I could say I wouldn't abandon my son, but like that's a fucking tough. Like, the more I think about the shit, like it's tough. It's tough to like question yourself with these genuine like moral quandaries that are like, that's more than just, oh, do I kill all the monsters in the underworld, dooming everyone and like killing the world, like, or like, do I beat the bad guy to save the world? Like, these are actual things that like, you put yourself in these characters' shoes for a second and you're like, fuck.
Damn. Yeah, no.
Damn, like, I don't know.
The stakes here are, they're far smaller.
Yeah.
And because of that, like, it's more gray.
Yeah.
And, like, difficult, and we can understand it better. Because, yeah, no, your example of Mother 3 is really good in that, like, of course you're gonna kill your brother and save the world.
Yeah.
Like, the world is so much bigger than your personal stakes.
Yeah.
It sucks that has to happen. Obviously, we feel bad for Lucas,
and
like it's a good emotional scene, yada yada. But like, of course, you're gonna do it. But here, it's like, also this happens in the past. We didn't play the character killing his sister.
Yeah.
He already did it. We're playing as like this like post-trauma version of our character who has kind of retreated into himself, has even kind of like created a false version of himself inside his little dream worlds that like I guess is supposed to represent his general like guilt and self-hatred because it wants to kill you at the end. I'm not sure.
Which is, and that's complicated because of, you think about the name Omori. Well, that's the name of the piano, and so like, did he name, like, I don't know. Did he name himself Omori because he, I don't know, wanted to become something his sister loved? But if he wanted to become something his sister loved, like the piano, why is this also a character that's like trying to feel nothing? Like it's complicated.
No, it's really weird. There's a lot to unpack there that I'd be
Yeah. There's Matt Pat's smarter than me that can that can untangle that web.
I hope Game Theory gets and gives it to the post. I really want that to happen again.
Oh man,
no,
it's possible. No,
it's not. No,
it's no. No, Pope Francis won't let him. Won't ever let, because it turned out that was a Steam code to fuck her in the gulag. Anyway.
But yeah, no, I like that whole thing. I like when we learned that, and we learned that. The best part about when we learned that is that we learned that after every other character has essentially come to terms with that she is dead and that she committed suicide, and that we need to like stay together as a friend group and support and love each other.
Yeah.
And then we learned that we were the one who actually killed her, which further explains our main character's like
depression and all these
feelings of guilt.
Yeah.
Feelings of guilt are huge because it like there's a literal visual representation of it as like the eyeball ghost, which we learn is like
a silhouette of a fucking hanging.
Yeah, the silhouette of his sister hanging, and he could see her eyeball.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would get that angle. That's a bit weird, but whatever. It's cool.
It is, yeah.
And like, when you learn that, it like makes total sense. And then the ghost that's been following you the whole game is like, oh shit, that's what that was. It's literally a visual representation of his guilt. And Basil has it too. I don't really understand his as much. It like is like surrounding him and whatnot. But,
I'm sure somebody out there is going to make a big aha moment and be like, oh yeah, it's because I don't know, because Basil saw it from this angle from the stairs, and that's why, I don't know.
I am not
fucking Aubrey pushed him in the lake, and thus it's swallowing him like the water. I don't fucking know, man. It's
there's something you can get from that. It's not as important because the main character is more important than Basil's. And, I mean, I like Basil in that too. He has the guilt of just like being complicit.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. He was complicit, and he didn't tell anyone. But like, if you do put yourself, that's a hard thing to like tell your friends that your other friend killed his sister, who was your friend. I said friend a lot there. But anyway, back to the general way it works is that we learn that happens, and then the main character confronts his like dream self-alter ego, or Mori, who basically says that you're a terrible person, you killed her, you don't deserve to exist.
Everyone loved her, and you took her away from them. Yeah.
Yeah. So clearly, Omori, in this particular instance, I'm not sure how I feel about him being that way throughout the entire thing. But in this particular instance, he is clearly the representation of your own like suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you are so guilt-stricken, you've created this like alternate self that thinks you should die, and that's how you've kind of dealt. Like, it's weird, but like it's the final battle. It's not really like any of the other gameplay, so I don't really consider it the final battle.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's pretty hard to lose
until
you reach the point where you have to lose. But so you have this, and like right before that, you go like, you remember all the good memories of your sister and your friends, and like, yeah, times were good. She is a good person who would forgive you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what we learn. And like the violin that's broken is mended. It's good. And like the violin being mended is, I guess the violin is supposed to be like the connection.
Well, it's the connection to Mari, because it's the thing you did together. It was and it's by that. I mean, it's technically the thing that also brought you apart. There's the irony of it, obviously, but
for sure. But that's like it's broken during the fight and like the fall or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it being fixed is symbolic, I would
Mm-hmm.
assume, of
Mm-hmm.
like repairing all of it. If it was broken in the fight, now it's fixed, and you've kind of like you've dealt with your grief and your guilt, and you're ready to face your own thoughts, which
Yeah.
is Omori. And you use it in the fight against Omori.
Yeah.
Um, so in the fight against Omori, you do like a big fight, and eventually you will lose, and it will ask you, do you want to continue or quit? And that's like the good and bad ending.
Yeah.
Um, bad ending is Omori takes control, which is basically just your suicidal thoughts take control and you kill yourself. I don't think there's much to say about it.
Well, I know it's weird because there's, as you go off the building, there's this weird implication that like the sky goes from like normal sky to silly dreamscape background to, you know, fucked hellscape background back to silly dreamscape. So it's the weird implication is that he's part escaping life and going back into those memories, into his dream memories, in his final thoughts.
Okay, so, there's like there's a suicide, escapism,
Yeah.
and maybe a losing sense of reality.
Yeah,
in the
for
same
sure.
process. Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
there's a sick MLG air horn in the middle of that song, and it really just destroys it for me. It's like, how do I take this seriously? Like, it's just like, man, it's like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, damn. It's great. Fuck it.
That was one of the endings I didn't watch because it was just like, okay, he committed suicide. And
Watch it, man. It's a trip. Yeah. It really is. Anyway.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But then the good ending is you wake up, you beat Omori, but then you hug him.
Yeah.
And like he disappears. So it's kind of like I don't know, the Final Fantasy IV facing your dark side.
Sure.
In
the chamber
thing, where you don't physically
you can't fight it. It's
Yeah, it's part of you, but I guess you accept it and move on, kind of thing. And you move on
through your memories of Mari and you're growing up and there's this wonderful fucking duet with a piano and a violin throughout that section. It fucking tingles just thinking about it, man. Like I would not be shocked if that makes people cry. Like I was pretty close. Yeah.
I was more just like, I guess, awed by the whole thing because I thought it was really great.
It was, yeah. No, fair enough.
But then after that, you go to your friends, and like the final line is pretty much, "I have something to tell you guys."
Well, and there's on the walk to. It should be noted on the walk to Basil's. The dream friends. They leave. It's.
Well, the dream friends go. The dream friends go up, and Shadow Basil goes down.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens if you go up because I only immediately went down.
I went up. They leave the hospital and you cannot leave the door. So there's the implication that they are gone.
The implication that the dream world white space is done. Like,
yeah.
You're over.
You're better than that. They are gone as you go to your friend's hospital room.
Then you admit what happens because you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main character, the Sonny, cannot like continue going on holding the secret, and Basil wants that too, obviously, because if you water Basil's flowers 3 times, which I did do, but I did get this scene. I don't know why I didn't get it. I do know why. The last time I watered it was after I completed the Hangman. The 3rd time I watered the plants was after I completed Hangman. And I guess it doesn't count at that point. I've
already somehow forgotten, but is the Basil scene before or after the credits? It's post-credits. Here's an interesting factoid that I've been thinking about. It's that you go in and it's, I have something to tell you. And it's, he does it. And it's interesting to me that the game does not give us our other friends' reactions. when you talk to Basil, or when it's you and Basil at the end, and you're crying, and Basil cries, and his darkness leaves him, it's just both of their faces. We don't know if the other friends are in the room. We don't know how they react. We don't know if they even forgave our.
Yeah, well, it's left open to our interpretation because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It does not matter if they forgive.
Yeah.
Some of them might not. Some of them may forgive. Like, that doesn't matter. The point is that Sonny said that he did it.
Yeah.
And that he finally got that guilt off his chest. It's out in the open. Obviously, he's never going to fully get rid of the guilt. He's always going to feel bad about this entire process. But now he can move on and live life. Mm-hmm. Whereas before, he was trapped in his house and was trapped by his guilt and grief.
Yeah.
It's great. That's the good way of doing an ambiguous ending, where like the thing that you left open, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can interpret it however you want, and we'll be fine.
The main problem is still solved. And we know our main character is better for it. Which I mean, obviously doesn't necessarily need to be the. Obviously, you can run with that however you want, but it does genuinely feel satisfying. I gotta say.
Oh yeah, no. At the end, I was like, oh, that was beautiful.
6 years for that Kickstarter, fucking well worth the wait. You know, it's like.
I mean, I hope so. I'm not one of the backers.
I mean. I literally heard about this fucking like 2 or 3 weeks after it was released. I could not imagine being the guy who put faith in this and then lost faith, and then I know it must be so satisfying being at the end of that journey, being like, fuck, they really turned this around, didn't they?
It was great. I heard about this. You told me about this 8 weeks ago, essentially.
Yeah.
I think literally 8 weeks ago. And I've already beaten it because I work fast. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I liked it a lot. If you haven't played it, you've made a mistake because you have watched this.
I gotta say, you're bad.
But I think it's still worth doing because we can't properly describe its visual styles, and there's things we missed. And even knowing the story, you may still get some emotional benefit out of it.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's about a 15-hour long RPG.
Yeah.
Unless you're Kaz, in which you take like half as long.
I could not tell you. I think I might have fallen asleep a couple times while playing it.
Okay, that would explain.
Just because I come off of work and but I would consistently, like, every day I would come off of work and fucking play this game unless we were all doing something together. Like, I wanted to keep playing. I think this game has something in it that anyone can relate to, and that makes you feel more of a connection to its characters, and that makes you root for everything. And like if you, I don't know, even if you don't relate, like, it's just a fucking interesting little story about all this fucked up. I don't know. There's so much cool shit about Omori. Like, we could not talk about all of it in this podcast.
There's I mean, we skipped over pretty much every dream sequence.
Yeah.
Because most of them are just fluff, but they are fun fluff. Like,
yeah.
I enjoy.
No, exactly. It's, I would say, it's like, there was a point where it's like, I see media about kids, any kind of media. I see fucking movies. I see fucking anime about kids, and I'm like, my brain shuts off. Great, I have to see dumbass children. I figured when I saw these 4 fucking kids for the first time in that rainbow house, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna forget you. Like, it's dumb fucking kids. But it really is the erased effect. Like, I really did very quickly start giving a shit about all of these kids, and I don't know, it was just very wholesome, and I I was
Not
ready
like
for the silly
in
fancy
an
romps.
interesting and satisfying way.
I was ready for the silly fancy romps, and I was ready for the disturbing shit. And it's it's like I said before. I just really don't know if I'm ever going to play a game like this again. And that's
I will say, by the end of some dream sequences, I was definitely like, I want to get to the meat. I want to get to the meat now.
sure.
Please.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad, but just because they're very fluffy, and I wanted to get to like the real cool shit and move the plot along. Because I always want to move the plot along at some stage.
Of course,
right?
yeah. And yeah,
But
it's like two whole dungeons, and at one point 3 whole dungeons technically, before you hit the last before you get to the last dream sequence. Because like
it's not like a big deal. But
no, it's not. But
it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like was it in like the final battle against Omori? Like I think after you choose to hit like continue or something, your like health and your health and juice pool. I don't know why they called mana juice.
Yeah.
But like is like huge. Like you had so much health and juice.
I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
I think that happened. I'm pretty sure that happened.
Okay.
I'm remembering it, so I have to assume it did happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that often that a game comes along that makes me like this fucking passionate to play it. Like it really is something different and special, I think.
Yeah. When I started, I ended the night. Like the first time I played, I think I ended at after the first real day or something. I forget exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to keep playing. I want to keep going. But then I had to go to sleep and go to work, and it sucked. But then I got home, it was like, time to play this cool game, this cool indie game. I will say, if it was any longer, it might have like started to wear out a little bit. But I think it was a perfect length for what it wanted to do.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Do you think it's the best indie RPG you've played?
The best indie RPG I've played, I have no idea. Because, I had to think of other ones I've played, but...
Lisa, Undertale.
Lisa, Undertale, other things like that. I don't know. It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
If I had to decide between it and another one, I would be hard-pressed to pick between stuff, right?
Yeah.
I can't call it the best, mostly because I like a lot of things for various different reasons.
Of course, yeah. No, of course.
I think like the end feeling I had at the end of like the true pacifist run of Undertale is very different from the feeling I had
at the end of the true ending. Yeah, of course. No, of course, yeah.
Because Omori, I was like, atonement, awesome, and then like in Undertale, I was like,
saving my friends.
Saving everyone, like it felt like a big epic conclusion, whereas this one was like a smaller, like personal, like
intimate, for sure.
Growing as a person conclusion, and seeing that was neat and awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like we're starting to repeat. Do you have anything else to say about this game outside of it's great, buy it and play it?
Yeah, not really. I think if the things we're saying are really interesting to you, and this seems like your kind of game, even if I don't know, I think more people should. That's the catch-22. I don't want this to be memed. I really don't want this to become like the next Undertale, but at the same time, like projects like this deserve your money. Like I think like it's
for sure. Don't pirate this game.
Mind you, I mean it's not like a Toby Fox like one person kind of thing. Like this was a solid team of people.
I mean, just because something's done by one person doesn't make it better.
No, of course.
Impressive, but like this was very good.
Yeah.
It was great. It was awesome.
No.
What am I saying? One thing I will say is, in the true ending, the credit sequence has a song that has lyrics, but it's only like chiptune.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about.
It's a if I had lyrics when it was. I would have liked to actually have like a song with lyrics. It would have caught me really off guard and be kind of cool. But
No, that was their real end game. They want to dominate the karaoke scene. Is the thing. So
you're not singing along.
you know, no, you know what? It might be. It might actually be to bait people into singing along to the ending, to finding what they think should be like the tone to this fucking song. I don't know.
Okay, no, Kaz, that's what you need to do. You need to make a video
No.
for a true end karaoke.
No. I ain't about that life.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a shame that the rest of the boys could not join us today. It really is.
It's too bad, but you know, whatever. We gotta get on things while it's topical. You know.
Yeah. We held down the fort. It's a great game. We like talking about it. One way or another, we'll see you around either for Thunderstorm or some kind of upcoming review or something like that. I have been your Kaznarious for the night. With me has been the Unnamed Guest, and you know, maybe we'll be here for another book, a new Thunder Book Club next time.
Thunder Book Club.
Title pending.
Yeah, if you have a piece of media that you think is really cool that you want us to like play or watch or something,
Yeah.
and you know, discuss. I mean, we'll do it. Why
Yeah.
not? If it's good.
Yeah, I mean
Like, subscribe, comment things you want us to experience, because I like experiencing things.
Yeah, it's, you know, we've sort of stuck to this sort of general Thunderstorm thing where we take a topic and we go very general with it, but I am super down for very intimate discussions like this of specific pieces of media. So, anyway, you can find us on THNDR CLUBEB fuck. Links in the fucking bio. All right, later, everybody.
Bye.
One more day to spend alone again. Morning starts without me. I seem to find it hard to wait.